This week on the Common Ground podcast.
Society, I would say it's definitely higher than a 5 out of 10 society-wise for culture. I mean, for me personally, my daughter one day comes home and says like, Dad, I want to marry an Asian man, or Dad, I want to, the guy I like is, I don't know, white, she's obviously mixed with white, but you know what I mean? Like, to me, it doesn't matter. Like, I just want to know that love is there. You know what I mean? And to me, that's the most important thing. Like, love doesn't have a color.
Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, friends and foes, my name is Brian Jefferson, and I'm your host on the Common Ground podcast. I am joined by two extraordinary men.
All right, here he goes.
Wow, sports fanatics, just really well-seasoned, well-groomed, confident men, and friends of mine that I can say, proud people. We're joined together on episode 9, and we're continuing the conversation on the difficulties of dating, but this time we're actually going to be evolving and going into a topic that, for some people, it can be a pretty big issue. Mm-hmm. It's tense, and it's called interracial relations. Interracial relations. Now, before we start breaking down what that actually means, I want to kind of ask you two, what is your experience with interracial relationships? You either of you can jump in first.
I'll go first.
Okay. And the camera is there. So
yeah, I know. I have a African American wife. I have two.
You got a black queen?
Yes, my African American queen. I don't want to say black too much because sometimes people get offended when white people say black. We can talk about that too. I grew up, I called my boys black, and now it's like, would you call me? I'm sorry, brown, African American, yeah, all that good stuff.
Yep.
So I have an African American black wife, 2 kids, and I've been married now. It's about to be 4 years in December. Yeah, so
Congrats, man.
I've dated African American women my whole life, basically. So yeah, that's kind of what I have to say.
All right, that's his resume.
Yeah.
And well,
Joe.
Man, well, I've dated white women.
Other women as well, but
Yes, for sure. But I got a 2-year-old daughter. She's also mixed. She's half white, half black. So, I mean, yeah, that's how it is. But there's more details in that for sure. But
okay.
No.
I hear you. So, I didn't state your names yet, but this is Big Cliff or Medium Cliff or what? Y'all don't know this, but he has done an amazing transformation this past year. You look good, bro. You look good.
Thanks.
You look good.
I was really fat, and now I'm healthy.
Fat to healthy. That's important. Health as well. Health as well.
It is.
Joe, are you still going by 2 Joes or just one now?
I've gotten older.
Okay.
So I go by
you
one.
matured into one
Yeah,
Joe.
one Joe.
Okay. All right. So the reason why I wanted to kind of bring this topic to light, the topic of interracial relationships, I feel like the reason why this could be a difficulty in dating is because there's a lot of cultural mismatch that people have expectations about, but also the stereotypes that we kind of feed into.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm sure between your personal experiences, you can see how those things play out.
Absolutely.
So I'd love to kind of hear about your personal experiences, but also kind of dive into maybe some scenarios where we can get some more clarity on if this is really if race is really driving this conversation or if it's something else.
Yeah.
So my first question here is, when it comes to dating, how important is race? Scale 1 to 10.
Is
How important is it?
Yeah.
So, are you saying like prior to? So for me, race was, if anything, I was telling him like growing up, I was like, she had to be black. So that was like
Qualifier.
That was like 9 out of 10. Like that's important. Like she wasn't black. Like she had to be literally sent from God. Like okay, maybe. So, I mean, I told my mom. My friends would tell my mom he's gonna marry a black woman. So race to me, in that aspect of like, if this is what you're attracted to and this is and there's a healthy attraction, it's not like, because for me, like I told him, for a time period, I almost felt like I was trying to be look like something, but inwardly, what I was always attracted to was African Americans, women, obviously. So now, when you say is race important, I believe race is important if that's what you like or whatever. But to me, it's not important as far as like shouldn't matter what race they are. So I believe culturally, there's all different types of things. You get into.
I think that's the key thing. Their culture.
Yeah,
it's the culture.
and I believe Asian, African American, German, all these different types of things. Like we were just talking earlier, like certain parents don't know anything. They were raised a certain way, and in their culture, you marry your race. So I believe society. I would say it's definitely higher than a 5 out of 10 society-wise for culture. I mean, for me personally, my daughter one day comes home and says like, Dad, I want to marry an Asian man, or Dad, I want to, the guy I like is, I don't know, white, like, I mean, she's obviously mixed with white, but you know what I mean? Like, to me, it doesn't matter. Like, I just want to know that love is there. You know what I mean? And to me, that's the most important thing. Like, love doesn't have a color.
Right.
So,
I mean, to piggyback off what Cliff is saying, for me, I've always thought about, color in general.
You get comfortable. Yeah, go ahead.
Color in general wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I always thought that if you love someone, it shouldn't matter if they were, black, white, Asian, Spanish. Exactly, off my Mike Jack. You feel me? So I always thought about it like, to fall back on your question, like on a scale of 1 to 10, it's only important if that's all you're seeking.
Yeah.
If you're just only seeking white women,
yeah,
then it's important to you.
Yeah.
If you're just only seeking Latinas, then that's important to you. But it's not important to me because I feel like as a human being, you can fall in love with any race. And I feel like that should be a focal point in what you're trying to pursue in a man or woman.
Wow.
So
that was deep.
But even like what he's saying, I feel like pursuing, just narrowing your search down to only my race or my color, you will eliminate the possibility of experience
exactly, man.
Whatever offered. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to me, it's like if you don't try something, you never know. And then if you discount it because it's a certain color, then you'll never know. And for me, that's like, I just feel like you learn that way. I was talking to somebody earlier who's, a pastor of mine, and basically he was just saying like, people are gonna lead however they lead. Like, it's not up to me. That doesn't determine how I lead. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to experience that, and I can take what I like from it and not. Like, I get that choice, but if I never experience it, I'm never gonna know what I could take or what I could learn.
Right.
So it's almost like I'm missing an opportunity because I'm narrowing down.
Blocking your blessings.
Yeah.
Cliff?
Blocking your blessings.
Wait.
Hey, he might preach.
I can hear it. I can hear it. I can hear it.
Just come out.
I can hear it, Cliff. I'm gonna call him Cliffy.
I've never dated a white woman, though. I have, like, in terms of her being my girlfriend.
Yeah.
But I have had interactions with a variety of races. I guess. Hey, I'm Mr. Cosmopolitan. I like to kind of, I like my options.
I can dig it.
But I think for me, the reason why I feel like race becomes such a driving factor in the relationship is because, to you guys' point, there's a lot of cultural potency that we rely on, and that when I say that, I mean, like, we gravitate towards things that we can truly value, and if if the person that you're interested in lives in a world where they value and they speak and they engage the world that way, and it just so happens that they're of that race, that's what you're going to gravitate towards.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think what happens a lot of the times is, we kind of try to put ourselves in these binary, like these different lanes, right? And you can either be of the color or of the culture.
Yep.
And and that's where people like, oh, if you look like this, then you should date like this, talk like this, be like this, and I think that's kind of where the struggle really starts. But we'll unpack that a little more later. But first thing, we're gonna jump into an article that I picked up from Cosmo. And yep, I read Cosmo. I do. Shout out to Cosmo. Pay me. But there are 12 unexpected struggles that interracial couples have, and I'd like to kind of hear if you guys have experienced these or not.
Can we say yes or no as you say them?
Oh, yes, we'll do that. Okay.
Because I figure like once you go down 12, then we have to like, which one
yeah.
you say again?
For sure.
Of course. I'll go down the list and then we can circle back.
Okay, cool.
All right. First one. When you are in an interracial relationship, no one thinks that you're together. Have you had that experience?
Yeah.
Man, that is absolutely true.
Okay.
That's absolutely true.
All right, next one. When you're regardless, taking pictures, someone needs to flash, someone doesn't.
I really.
Who needs to flash?
My wife don't look like the Kimbe Montgomery.
Right, exactly. Like, oh man,
darkness.
Nah,
I ain't really.
That's not you.
When it's dark, we both need to flash.
Right.
That's some savages.
Right.
Okay. How about when you're out and you get backhanded comments? Ever gotten a backhanded comment about your relationship?
Could you give an example?
I
have, but I just want to like.
Okay, so you being white,
yeah,
you bring your partner home, and your white mother says like, "Oh, this one is pretty."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get what I? Do you get
Yeah.
the?
So I definitely,
yeah.
So not my mom. Like, yeah, you definitely. People definitely. I mean, you know. I've had it before my wife, with my wife, other things like,
especially,
oh man, this the way she conducts herself is a lot better than, or like, yeah, it's,
or like
sometimes it's straight savage.
Or like example is like, oh, I see your little girlfriend. Oh, that's your little, like when you put "lil" in front of something,
it's belittling.
It's belittling the person that you are with, or belittling the car. Oh, I see your little car that you got now, like. You backhanded something right now, so come on, son, you doing too much.
Okay, how about this one? Guessing your partner's or your child's ethnicity. Does that happen?
Yes, for sure.
So, like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, normally, people like before they see them.
Yeah. Do they try to like?
I'm pretty sure everyone guesses
like,
my wife is black. So yeah. I mean, they don't really struggle with the guess. It's kind of like.
They know.
I've never had someone say, "I bet you your wife is white."
Oh.
They almost always say like, "You're white black, ain't she?" They always say that.
Right.
Like we be talking like,
how do you?
You got a black wife?
Exactly.
How do you respond to that?
At one point, I'd be like, it was kind of like, but now it's kind of like, well, what makes you say that? You know what I'm saying? Whereas like before, like I've asked her, like, why you say that? It's like, I can just tell the way you are, I figured, and oh, okay. You know, it kind of goes in that conversation.
Yeah, like how I speak,
acting a certain way, you act black,
exactly,
like, or
how
like,
I speak or how I present myself, or
bro, like these sandals. We ain't gotta show them, but these
you
sandals,
got
I
the
get no credit.
Birkenstocks?
Yeah, I get no credit in the streets.
They're Gucci flops.
Yeah, they're Gucci, but they're Birkenstocks. So I wear them. People are like, what the hell are you wearing those for?
I don't know about that.
I like them. They're comfortable. Like that's why. Like
I feel you, but now you definitely get that for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Saying the N-word, does that become an issue in interracial relationships?
Yes.
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 For who?
Huh?
the white girls be
Man,
saying
what?
that joint.
The white
No,
girls.
there's been plenty of time. Now listen, I haven't, I've never acted upon a situation.
Yeah.
But there has been times that I've been with white women, and it slipped, and I have to like.
Oh, so you are the person who said the word, and then, they said the word.
They said it, like an argument has started, and
it got heated.
Between you and her, and she calls you.
She was like,
"Oh no, that's too savage."
Exactly.
I've heard people
I've had to leave.
Yeah.
Something that was, that was brewing, something that we were trying to make work, something that we were like trying to see a future. I had to leave the situation because when you're upset, I've always said this. When you're upset, when you're upset, the truth about how you feel about somebody
really gonna come out.
Can you say it again?
When you're upset, the truth of how you feel about somebody, it comes out. And
raw.
Yeah. And it doesn't, and because when you're upset, things come out of your mouth. And I hate when people say, well, I was upset, so I said what came to my mind. Well, what's ever on your mind is what you're saying. It's how you're perceiving, it's how you're thinking, and that's the type of person that you are. Yeah. So for you to come out your mouth,
it's a reflection of the internal.
Yes.
So now, just a question: was it the A or the ER?
Ooh. Oh, it was the A.
Oh, because
it was
ER.
The ER.
Okay.
The ER would have been like, "Hey, mom."
She would have needed to go to the ER.
Lorraine,
you
y'all gotta come outside.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta call her. Y'all gotta come inside.
So I'm gonna give you a little both perspective here. Okay. So I do know white women, they hop out there real quick with the N-word when they're with a black guy. Wow. I myself, I mean, just personally, I grew up in a culture where they kind of like accepted and were like, bruh, we don't care if you say that. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago, and even, I'm sorry,
you're good.
It wasn't even until a couple of years ago when I was like, you know, and my wife, she didn't really care, but she kind of like challenged me in some of it. And really it was a revelation of like, if I want to see a change, because I have such a heart for the African American community, like the streets, like the hood, like I have to be what love looks like. And regardless of what I think, what the hood thinks about that, that's a word that I don't want any representation for of what I want. You know what I'm saying? And regardless of like, I mean, I've been with the hoodest of hood bammers just throwing around the N-word like, yeah, you know, and they all like, you good. And be like, but if your brother say we're gonna beat the dogs now, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
so it was kind of like
you got
a pass, a street pass. But for me to even kind of elaborate, and even if anybody hears this, forget a street pass. It's respect, it's history, it's honor, it's culture. Like regardless of what black men think or women think about it, my thing is like, for us to be a change, for us to see a change, we have to accept that, okay, this is not our word. Regardless of what African American people accept about the word, because I feel like there's an unhealthy, like almost representation and almost like ownership that they've taken over that word, like this is our word, and there's so many like negative things I feel like go around it. For me, regardless of any of that, it's not my word, it's not anything. And because my wife is black, or because my friends are from the hood or black or whatever, it doesn't give me a right to say that. And that was my own, like, in my lifetime. Yeah, bro, listen, I may have had 2-3 people in over 10 years to ever challenge me. And I look at them like, what's wrong with me saying it? Like, look them dead in the face, like, with no thought or anything, like, and they'd just be like, I just think you shouldn't say it. I'd be like, well, I mean, say it all the time, man. It ain't gonna change. Like, and
yeah,
it wasn't
just to kind of jump in real quick. Like there was a friend I had in college. You know, he was actually biracial himself, and he used the N-word all the time, like throwing around like N-word this, N-word that. Like we all just N-words, and I'm like, I mean, like to some people where they're from, it's like because you're not of the color and of that culture, you're not, that word doesn't belong to you. But I've never really heard it in the context of what you're talking. Like I haven't had that experience where it's an emotional, intense situation, then the girl throws a racial epithet towards me, or it just comes out. So I'm curious to know, like, how did you process that? And how did that affect the relationship moving forward? Yeah,
like I said before, man, it's like I told you, it's a whole, you get positive and negative things when it comes out of a relationship with people. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be, everything is not gonna be perfect. It's not gonna be peachy, but when you do get into these confrontations with somebody that is biracial and they do use a racial slur to that magnitude, and where we are right now in our generation, you know. It's going to stir the wrong way because of what you see on television, how they perceive it on the internet, and how these higher powers, these hierarchies look at black people. You know what I'm saying? So as a black person, you're going to see that and you're going to feel a certain way about that. So I took it upon myself as to get upset with the obvious. Like, you're upset, you said it, boom. But like I said before, when you're upset, you say a lot of things that you mean. You know what I'm saying? That just comes from experience. Because you know, even with just coaching basketball, when I'm upset, the real thing comes out. It comes out of me. Like, When I'm coaching my kids, when I'm cool and calm, it's like, you know what I'm saying, you can do better, you can do better. But when I'm pissed,
you sucked it up.
It's a different element.
It's wrong.
You know what I'm saying? So in that situation, it's a situation that you just got to dead, and I did.
I'm glad we established the cultural polarity that we exist in, because it really sets the tone for, I think, how people structure their relationships and their dating. And to kind of make that a little more clear, I think a lot of people step into interracial relationships and they try to look at it as like, I'm colorblind. Or I am, or I don't. It's not top of mind for me when I'm dating somebody. And it really comes down to like that genuine connection that you have with someone. But I do feel like race, at least for the outside of your relationship, those opinions can influence your relationship.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
And you can choose to ignore it, or it can weigh on you, and how you process that is differently. And I know it's different for men and women. So I want to ask you guys: would you say that are you colorblind, or are you more color conscious when it comes to your relationship? Should I break down the difference?
No, I think I understand what you're saying. You can tell me. So for me, colorblind would mean like just not. Like it's me and my wife and not worried about the world that's going on around us. Is that what you're saying? So yeah, because the other aspect of what you're saying is like who you like, it doesn't matter. But basically what you're saying. So I would tell you now more than ever, I'm color conscious. Why? Because I have African American girls and I'm going to have an African American son. I happen to be unfortunate, very small percentage, I'm sure, of white people that have been judged by cops and being in situations, because I have a lot of friends where cops pull up with guns at the window. Cops, people lock the door when they see us walking by. Like, that is not a world that I want my daughters to be in, or my son. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to worry because my son is black, you're gonna be scared of him. That's crazy. And to me, it's like, so, I'm definitely conscious of like, yo, there's some realities in this world. People look at my wife different. We were just at the store Monday. I was on a pastor's retreat. My wife is with me for the dinner. We walked into a 7-Eleven over near Chesapeake Bay. The woman seen me walk in. As soon as she seen my wife walked in, I was like, hi, how you doing? She wouldn't even speak to me.
Okay.
That's wild.
What? Okay, go on.
And in that moment, like, my wife was like, babe, I'm not coming back here again without you. I was like, yeah, I know. Like, I don't like the stereotype, but she smelled every bit of racist. Like, and it was just like crazy. I'm like, that's the world we live in right now. Like, walk into a store, and because she's black, you've already premeditatedly judged us. And her skin makes her different than me. I have to be conscious of that. One, because if I love my wife, I gotta be aware of that, because I gotta protect that. I gotta make sure she feels comfortable, feels safe. The one that I've always told my wife, bro, is like, I want you to feel safe. And the best thing she ever told me, she's never had a time in her life with me where she hasn't felt safe. And if that changes, then that's going to be a problem.
Being just a good man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cliff.
Beyond being a white man.
Yes, sir.
That's just.
My guy, Cliffy.
Now you hold it down for you.
Yes, sir.
Hold it down for Miss Queen.
Got to.
So yeah, I would say I'm color conscious.
Color conscious.
Yeah, no doubt.
Joe.
I'm definitely color conscious.
Yeah,
there's no.
You're African American already.
I got it.
If anything, she's probably the one that's colorblind.
Yeah,
like, hey,
right.
it's just us.
Okay, so then that's a good question.
Yeah.
That'll help me ask this question then. If you identify as color conscious, have you dated women who have been who appear more colorblind, or are they more color?
You know what? That's a great question, because I honestly believe in the women that I've dated in the last 10, 15 years, they've all been colorblind. They've all been colorblind. Which is just us. It's okay. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Because they still look at me a different way, regardless of how you feel. This person behind this counter, or this waiter, or this waitress, or this person at this gas station is going to look at me a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like, prime example.
Prime.
All right.
Optimus.
Me, my daughter, and my daughter's mother. We went out to get something to eat.
Where'd you go?
We went to Outback.
I love Outback.
Pump a nigga bread. You already know how it goes.
You know, not too many black
Slob
people
the butter
pumping
on
bread.
that. Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Yes. But anyway.
With those carbs.
Yes. Exactly. So we go eat. Everything's cool. My daughter's playing around or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We're having a good time. And the check comes.
Yeah.
Usually, when you go out with a female, the waiter or to waitress, they bring it to the man.
Okay.
But because, and she couldn't see it because she is colorblind, she couldn't see it because I'm like, yo, when you go out to eat, do you ever get the check? Does the check ever come to you? She was like, no. I said, so what was the difference today?
I think you skipped over something. Where did the check go to?
Oh, the check went to my daughter's mom.
And she is...
She's white.
Wow. Bypass the black dude.
But no, forget color. Just the dude. Like, I mean, obviously color, but that's just etiquette. Like, anywhere. So, like,
even if she's
the guy is
even
like,
if she's gonna pay
if
for
you go out with a woman and they hand you the check, they're a bad waiter in general. I mean, they hand Shorty the check.
So this is 2019. You know, some women are picking up checks these days.
Well, that's fine.
That's fine. I'm not
but
saying
as
that's
a waiter or waitress, you should always hand it to the guy.
To the guy.
Okay.
That's just being a waitress etiquette 401, 101. That's how you read the book.
Oh,
Gentleman picks up the check.
Yeah. Okay.
But they're looking at it at a standpoint where
you're black.
This is a black man.
White.
And she's
So
white.
you're saying they've already
She's probably going to pay for this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Was the waiter white?
The waiter was white.
What do you think the underlying assumption was in the waiter's mind?
That he doesn't have any money.
And how did that understanding? You're saying that the girl she didn't process that same.
No, she was colorblind by the fact she just picked up the check. She put, you know what I'm saying? She was looking at it. She gave it to me. I put my card in, closed the check, and when it came back, they said Joseph Turner on the check. Well, shit, her name ain't Joseph.
No, it's not.
You know?
It's not.
But that's
did he hand it back to her?
Absolutely.
Oh Lord.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you may not coming back to being colorblind. You may not look at it like that, but like,
you gotta be aware.
It happens, bro. And that's a little example. I mean, it happens, man. At 7-Elevens, at gas stations, at you just saying hello to somebody. Just saying hello to somebody. A lot of people, you gotta, being African American, you gotta be color conscious. Yeah. You gotta be.
That's really bad. I mean, I have numerous stories with my friends when people follow people around the store. Like, I'm like, all right, man. Like, I don't do well with that stuff. I'm like, yo, what you following him for? What you talking about? You walk the whole store with my man. That dude over there is stealing. Huh? Like, yeah, but my friend, you're the one watching. It's awful.
It happens. It's crazy.
Well, we're talking about preconceived notions, and we're talking about making these quick snap judgments.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you're judged when you're in an interracial relationship?
Man.
Not everyone, but I'm definitely judged. It happened 100%.
1,000% for me because of I'm so culturally black.
Yeah.
You black.
You know what I'm saying? Like where I come from, who I am, how my mom raised me, like where I've been, my struggle.
DC.
You know what I'm saying?
Just show them some.
You already know how we get down, baby. You gotta show the love.
And
but
hold on, we do have a little we got.
That's a whole nother situation that we gotta talk about. But honestly though, like because I'm so culturally in my culture, when somebody sees me with a white woman,
what do they think? What are they thinking?
They're like, what the hell?
A violation?
It's a super violation to them because it's like you're so black women are beautiful, black women are this, black women, and they absolutely are. But being in love doesn't have a color. It goes back to what we piggybacked on in the first stint of this show. Like being in love doesn't have a color. Like I can love my black women, I can love my mother, I can love my sisters, I can love, you know, the valedictorians, the librarians, whatever. You know, I can have that. But if I fall in love with a Latina or I fall in love with an Asian, that don't mean that I'm not about my culture.
I hear you. It's like once you step outside the race, you somehow are delegitimized, or you're making the black group
And it just
less than.
shouldn't
You're making
be
it
that
seem
way.
like it's less than.
Yes, and it shouldn't be that way.
But this is where I feel like, you know, especially if you look at it from a woman's standpoint, a black woman's standpoint, they look at it and they're like, you are a good black man. There are not many of us. They have been conditioned to think this way.
Yes.
So for you to step out of the race and date someone who is not like us,
Right.
you are betraying the culture.
Right. And you know what, Brian? That's so. I love the fact that you brought that up because, like, it's.
Hold on. Before we break it down,
right.
I'm asking, do you agree with that?
I just don't feel like I'm like I don't feel like I'm letting anybody down. Like I don't feel like I'm letting you down.
But can I ask something?
Yeah.
Is that his responsibility?
That's what I'm saying. Like, why do I have to be responsible? Like
his responsibility.
Like, how do I have to be responsible for how you perceive or how you think, or because I'm this black man that's good and is responsible and respectful, like.
You're being put on a pedestal to an extent.
Yes.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, so I'm responsible for dating somebody that I'm not in love with.
I mean, my wife, and I ain't gonna put those people on blast,
no.
whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's some people that, like, when she started dating me, and then, like, I proposed and everything, like, you're gonna marry a white guy? And for me, I was just like, because I've just been through it, you know. I'm like, dang, like, oh, okay, this is new, you know, like, okay. But in it, it's kind of like, and this side, like you're saying, like, don't you just want the people you love and the people you care about to be happy?
That's it.
And to me, you're willing to say, and this is what I also look at, are you willing to sacrifice part of your happiness, part of your joy, to follow along with what culturally you need to back up? You know what I'm saying? Because it's almost like, yeah, I gotta date a black person. And it goes back to stuff like, what if a white guy or white girl comes into that person's life and that's the person? Like, that's the person that makes them the happiest. But they're like, you know what? You're white. Could you imagine if that was the end result? Like, you've been with somebody for 2-3 years and like, hey, I just gotta let you know, you're white. It's just not gonna work
out.
So the time.
And then you're gonna settle for what I'm saying, settle in a sense of like, I want this because they're black. It's like, no. And the other thing is like, well, if I'm supposed to marry a white woman, where were all the white women that were attracted to me? Because I couldn't find them. There's plenty of black women. They like me. So I'm like, I got my slew of African American women.
Slew? A slew? That's like a trade.
Yes, a platter.
Wow.
A platter.
Okay.
A platter.
No, but
I wonder if they were
seriously,
different.
like my pastor always talking about he's Spanish. He's like, everyone's like, why didn't you wear a Spanish one? Well, none of them talked to me. They didn't like me. So it's like, what do you do? Like, you go out there like on a hunt. I'm gonna find the black woman that loves me like these white women love me. Like, is that fair?
That's not my approach.
No, I'm just saying, like, for someone like, and Joe, like, I'm thinking like, bro, in my life, like, I like to work for stuff, so I don't mind. But like,
this is no sleep sports. He works. Like, he hard work.
No
sleep sport.
Yeah.
You know what's gonna do it. Just let him sit. Just let him sit. What you don't do, you don't ever sleep.
Never.
No sleep.
Never.
Wow. Always working.
So my thing is like, if an African American has that approach, what have they ever gone to that person and be like, hey? And out of like disrespect, hey, can I talk to you for the culture? So that's the new thing, you know what I mean? Hey, can I talk to you for the culture? Why aren't you with a black woman? And you say, well, they don't like me. What the heck is that person going to say?
They'll be like, you're not looking hard enough. You're not trying hard enough.
But what does that mean?
Like,
in my life, am I supposed to sit here like, it's like, all right, you know what homework for the week is? Find me a black woman that loves me like these white girls. Hell no,
I'm trying to
man.
tell you, man. I find and I catch these people, man. They try to do that to me all the time. Like, yo, you always with a white girl, or you always with a white girl, or you always with a white girl. Like, bro, so what?
My wife is black, and she's loved me better than any woman I've ever been with in my life.
It shouldn't matter. It should not matter.
Yeah.
Like, regardless if, you know, put me on this pedestal where I'm responsible and I do what I need to do to take care of what I need to take care of. Like, Brian, I shouldn't be responsible for who I should look like when other people want to see me date someone.
Yeah.
Like, I because, you know, the girl that I'm with, or, you know, my wife or what have you is white, they shouldn't look at me like, well, you didn't try hard enough to find a black girl. Like,
and I think that's part of society. Not just even African American, or like, people don't care about people's happiness. They care more about what they want.
We live in a negative world.
Yeah, for sure.
They care about what they want things to look like
Yeah.
more than they care about the genuine happiness of those people.
right.
They'd be happier seeing him with a black woman and he's sitting there fighting all the time.
Miserable.
They don't know that. But if
black,
he's
so
with
it's
a white
okay.
woman, you know, or Asian or Spanish, like, then it was like,
But she's black, so she's okay.
Okay,
She's a queen.
But
And
she
I'm not
over
saying
there,
that it's a problem.
and I'm not trying to say black woman, but she over there beating the hell out of him. They don't care, because that's what we need.
Hey man, you strong. You with, like, bro, I'm strong dating the white woman. I'm strong dating the Asian woman. I'm strong dating the German. It don't matter. It don't matter.
There are black Germans, Blurmans.
But this, you know.
But I feel like what you could do better for the culture is, what would it be like if you taught someone outside your culture to appreciate your culture better, and then they bring that in their world?
Talk to them nice, Cliff.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so
come on, bro.
and that's where I'll jump in here, and it's like, I think for some people it could become exhausting. Trying to educate someone, especially your partner, on the complexities of your culture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of pressure. For some people, it's like, I'd rather step into this relationship and be colorblind and be like, you know what, we're not going to talk about race, we're not going to think about race until you actually may have a child, and then you do have to kind of look at that. But for you know, for some, like, okay, so for example, I have people in my family. Mm-hmm. They have a strong preference for me to date and marry a black woman.
Yeah.
Now, it just so happens that the women that I have truly committed and had exclusive relationships have been with black women.
Yeah.
I have an affinity towards black women.
Good.
Okay.
They're awesome.
Yes,
they're
for sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now, that's not to say I don't disregard any opportunities with Latina women, Asian women, Indian women. I think what my family is getting at is that it's going to be very difficult for a woman outside my race to truly understand the black experience.
So I love it, Brian. I love that.
It is difficult, but you know what I say? Love says that I want to understand you.
Cliff.
That's real though. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's difficult. Getting in life is difficult, but love is like the emphasis of love is like. Cause here's the thing: when you break it down in a relationship, we all looking for love. That's in color. Forget the color.
Yeah.
Love says, hey, if I'm a girl, I'm like, Brian, I want to understand you. I may never truly understand it, but I desire to understand what you've been through and what it looks like to be in your shoes. I may never feel it. I may never see it. I may never have to embrace it. But I want you to know that I support you and I care. No, but it's true. And to me, that's what it comes down to. That's why people get frustrated. Because they're in interrelational relationships and people are like, that white person don't give a crap. What are they doing for the culture? Like, for me, that's why I said earlier, if I want to be a change, or I want to have a voice, or people respect me and honor me, like, I have to start dropping things that could even if, let's just say the culture doesn't have a problem with me saying it. That doesn't mean anything. I want to make sure that the influence and the power that I carry, that's the other thing. Like, I don't use social media to blast like African American holidays or people, because half the people that do that don't give a rat's butt about African American people or the culture. What I do is I walk it out in my life. and the people you see around me, the people you know around me, you ask them what I do and what I do for their culture or the people that know me. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you helping that out? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you really about what you're talking about? Or do we just get a month and then all of a sudden Black History Month comes, man, black people are amazing, like so-and-so, like we steal so much from their culture and we're just gonna appreciate it 1 month. That's bull crap. And that's real. Like, to me, in my life, what my wife has been through, her family, and like I'm learning like her great-grandfathers and what they went through in the slave and being in the South, they grew up in Florida, like, bro, like that stuff is heartbreaking. Yeah. And I may never ever understand it, but I go there to that emotion with her to embrace her at that time. Like, man, I don't really know what this feels like, but I know it must have sucked. I know this hurt. You know, I know this bothers you.
And that's and that's what it comes from when he's saying love is your choice.
Yeah.
So my choice is who I'm going to love.
Yeah.
It's not about who you want me to love.
Yeah.
I don't care who you want me to love.
Or what they look like.
Or what they look like. Period. It's my choice of who I fall in love with, who I give my heart to, who I want to be in hardships with, who I want to make me happy, who I want to lay next to at night, who I know is going to take care of me, who's going to love me, who's going to cherish me. It's my choice. It shouldn't have to be, you know, this, that, and the third. It shouldn't be their choice. It shouldn't matter. So why put me up on this pedestal like I need to be with a black woman because nobody knows the struggle of what black people have been through. That doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, and see, this like goes back to like building a real foundation. Hey, we need to build some stuff as friends. Because here's the other thing, like we say, oh, we're attracted, so you get in a relationship. It's like, well, where is the development?
Yeah, come on.
Like, hey, so I need you to know I'm African American. These are things that are real in my life. Before we even go any further, like, this is what's gonna happen. You know, like, be real with them. You know, one of the best things that my wife did to let me know, like, yo, she was down for me, she loved me. She's the first woman, I've been in church my whole life, first woman to ever ask me while we were dating, how can I pray for you? Now, that may not sound like a huge thing, but for me, what it allowed me to see was she's not worried about my attraction. She's not worried about her physical attraction. She's not worried about what's going on in life. She's more concerned with how she can take care of my spirit, my soul, my being, and pray to fight with me on that level. Bro, color that transcends all color, anything. Hey, this power of love, I see this, and this means more than your color, what you're going through, anything. And I want to see it, I want to hear it, and I want to embrace it, and I want to fight with you on that. Just like culturally, like, hey, you may be going through something. I mean, let's say a girl says, hey, how can I pray for you? You say, you know what? Being a black man, you go, and then literally, love says, like, I want to learn about this. I want to know about this. You know, like, I tell people all the time, and like, literally, I almost cry every time, like, thinking about the grace, the patience, the adversity, the fight, the drive, the way my wife challenges me in everything. And yet, my wife, you will never, ever hear her once salt my name. Of all the crappy stuff that I've done, all my failures, you will never know how she feels in her worst moments with me because she loves me that much.
And I'm really glad you shared that with me. Because let me say this. Like, I feel like we live in a society now where it's really difficult and far in between where we actually can gravitate towards people who care about our whole person like this. Like, that is truly amazing. Now, I do have to say this though. You have a black woman as your wife. And for many, they say those qualities are synonymous with being a strong black woman. And that type of love, although it can exist for other races, how it's expressed and how it's projected to that intensity is unique to a black woman. Therefore, that should be associated with the struggles, experience, and drives of a black man. And not to say that you don't belong or you don't deserve that thing, because clearly she deserves you, you deserve her. But that's where I think the conflict becomes between like when black women, I guess, for example, like at Georgetown. You know, Georgetown, going there, there's a very, very small population of black women.
Yeah.
They are educated, they are attractive,
Yeah.
but there are only so many.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if I talk to a white girl, which was 85% of the school,
Yeah.
I was somehow
Put in a class or
like it was
you
like,
don't want black women.
But I have a question though, like.
Go ahead.
But all right, so, and please say if I'm wrong, let me know because I just want to know.
Yeah.
But don't they have a type of Asian woman that are strong and a type of Latino woman that's strong?
Yes.
And a type of white woman that is strong.
Yes.
So when you speak on being a strong woman, why are we breaking them apart to the point where you putting them in categories? Shouldn't they just be strong women?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just
Well,
you need a strong black woman. You need a strong black woman. Like,
but you and you know what you're saying, but then that goes into history and what's happened, and that's what, and you know what, and this is the thing. This is where I have a grace. I didn't go through that. My culture didn't go through that.
Right, absolutely.
Yours did. So there is an ownership of like, look what we made it through. Look what we did. Like, we deserve our people. We fought through these things in time. But to kind of piggyback, but then I look at like my mom. She raised me, my brother, and my sister on her own.
Strong.
A white woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I was a hellion. Like,
a what?
A hellion.
What
like,
is that?
A bad
hellion?
kid.
Yeah,
a bad kid.
Right.
I ate everything.
Right.
I ate
the baby
that's in the hood, you know, in the suburbs, we hellions.
Right.
But no, like, my mom raised me, my brother, and my sister, and plenty of my friends with us. And I eat, I mean, I was big. I love to eat. We all love to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, so how do you think, and not to take away, please don't, I'm not doing that, but you look at that fight and then say, well, that type of woman needs that love, or it's going to give that type of love because of that battle, that fight.
You got it. He's stern.
Because you're absolutely right.
My mom is.
You're absolutely right, because my mom also raised 3 children on her own, a single parent.
Yeah.
Like, she still did the same. You know, bro. You know who Rhonda is, bro.
Yeah.
You know who Rhonda is. So what I'm saying is to pick just to go by based off of what I'm saying. They're strong. The word strong. They're strong in every woman. In every female, they're strong. They have babies, bro.
Let's not even talk about like Hispanic women who come over here with nothing. Bro, they be hopping fences, swimming across water, doing all types of stuff. To come to America, work every single day, birth 80 kids, and make food. I mean, you know,
but
I'm stereotyping, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
the American dream,
and they come here, they work their butt off, they feed their family, they cook all day, and they live life. And they do it out of the strength of we're here in America. Like, what about that strength?
That's strong to me.
Not to say that, but they can feel discredited because yes, you did go through a time period, but these people are currently breaking basically into our country and doing this on a regular basis.
Yeah, I hear you. And so that characteristic of strength.
Yeah,
you're saying that we shouldn't attribute that just to one race. It's something.
I believe that there's different proponents to strength that you go through.
Yes.
So what maybe an African American mama went through, an Asian woman won't understand.
Right.
But you won't know what it's like to be in North Korea battling South Korea to get to here.
I don't.
You know what I'm saying? But they come here and then they make life happen. Like, that's a whole nother type of strength.
Exactly.
Hispanic one. Bro, I don't know if you know how like people breaking into the country and stuff like they go.
It's a risk,
bro.
It's a
the stuff that they do. Like, we've had people come to church and just shift, bro. Like, just being with the cartel, with smugglers, swimming across oceans, rivers, like jumping fences, all that stuff. That type of fight, and some of them sometimes pregnant. Bro, that's a strength I couldn't even fathom. And to me, there is proponents of like, you don't know what this is like until you go through it.
Yes.
I don't know what it's like to be a black woman raising black children and having to deal with what society looks like right now. That is a strength that I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And we won't know because we're not women. But my wife will. Maybe your wife will. Maybe your wife will.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the case is, like, those are things that, like, you can't take someone's story and discredit it. But you can't take someone's story and discredit someone else's story.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's real.
100%. 100%.
Well, with all of these judgments and issues, I feel like it really comes from the struggle begins with the source.
Yeah.
And I think it's a generational issue. I think it is a lot of what our parents expect and put on us.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of white noise. A lot of noise that exists outside of our.
Right.
It comes from usually. Where it comes from is very important.
Mm-hmm.
So you both said that you agreed that you have experienced judgment because you are in or have been in interracial relationships.
Absolutely.
Where does it come from? If you can give me, who do you experience it from, and how is it expressed? I've seen it. Is it family? Is it friends?
Family,
is it strength?
friends, random people, teachers. I mean, you name it. Museums, libraries, like parks.
And where does it matter? Where does it? From those sources, where does it hurt the most?
Oh, it's always gonna hurt the most with family.
Okay.
Family. Because, I mean, those are the people that...
No matter what, those are the people that, like, especially your immediate family. You're like, dang, like, you're this person to me, or you're that person to me. Like,
you truly feel this way about the person that I'm dating right now?
Yeah.
Like, you supposed to... We always talk about family over everything. Love is love. Like, regardless.
Because to me, it's like you bring... This, to me, is also the thing. Like,
I know you got real passionate, but he was about to say something.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good, bro. No, I'm just saying now, just to piggyback what you're saying, you know, they go by love is love and family over everything. But so if you are putting this out there and you're stating this, like, and you are making it known that, you know what I'm saying, you love me the way I love you, it shouldn't matter who I bring into this house.
So are you telling me that your mom has never had an issue with you dating a white woman or a woman that wasn't black?
My mother? No.
Okay.
My mother has never said anything to me about dating outside of my race.
As long as you good, she's good.
She's like, bro, you're happy for what you've been through in your life and how you are as a person. As goofy as you are as a person. For somebody to want to take your ass seriously, oh, you slim, you're good in my book. If you want to take my son, oh, you're good in my book. So it shouldn't matter. So immediate family and stuff like that, yeah, man, it shouldn't matter. Love is love, regardless, love is love, bro. It shouldn't matter who you bring into your home, who you bring around your family, who you take to your church, the grocery store, the mall, the museum, the library. Love is love. It shouldn't matter. That's how I always have looked at dating interracially, dating in general. I mean, love is love, period.
If you have a kid one day, you gonna want your kid to date a black person or someone who loves them?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I want them to love them unconditionally.
Whoever it is, right?
Yeah.
And see, to me, that's the goal.
Yeah.
That's what loving cause see, what love does is, like, even if you feel a certain way, you want your child to be loved the best.
Absolutely.
And
So
raising them.
And you got to take race out of the.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for people is you bring your own child into it, and you look at, is the race more important than them getting the best love that they can get?
Please direct that question to the camera.
Is the race more important than them getting the best love that they can get? And to me, I just believe if you say it's more important, then you're a selfish SOB. Like, it's. How do we want the world to change if we cannot want people to have the best type of love that they can get?
What do you live for?
Yeah.
What do you live for? To live your best life.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Live your best life. I'm living my best life. It's everywhere. So how can I be living my best life if I'm not getting unconditional love? unconditional.
Now,
you're limiting yourself.
Yes.
If you're limiting
I
yourself.
will say this because I don't want it to sound. You can get all this in your race.
Yes, for
you
sure.
can.
Absolutely.
So I don't want people to think that,
Absolutely.
but it's
Yeah.
not only limited. And I feel like culturally, this goes even like kind of racism thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
Some people are subconsciously trained at a young age to be racist.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are subconsciously trained to stay within their culture, and it narrows out.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost like for me as a white man, like my black friends and stuff, I would want to know about stuff because I want to understand more.
Yes.
So I can fight
Yes.
alongside your dream, your vision, your pain. That's what friendship looks like. The people in my life, I'm loyal to a flaw, and I'm gonna ride with you to the wheels fall off.
I can definitely say now this is I've known him. Cliff, I've known you since I was 15.
Yeah.
It's about 10 years.
Yeah.
And I've experienced love from a distance.
Yeah.
Like you have made sure that you have loved me from
Yeah.
when I'm just like trying to chill. It's like no, like how are you?
Yeah.
That is you have that genuine personality. So I'm very impressed with the man that you are. Both of you really have kind of taken love and extrapolated to a point where you're not restricted by just race.
Yeah.
And you know, we're wrapping this up here, and I guess to get the common ground here, I wanted to add. I think I had a quote here that I wanted to read, and I just want to hear what you guys' thoughts were. It says, "At the end of the day, you are married to each other, not to each other's cultures or families. You have to respect you have to respect and love the person you lie down with at night."
Now, I'm gonna tell you, that's true.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
But there's family.
There's family.
And they're there for life.
Mm.
So yes, you're not married to them, and they ain't gonna be in the bed, but they're gonna be in their life. And something that I've learned, you have to learn to respect and honor those people, or it's gonna suck for a long time. Because if you think you're gonna come in and take someone's daughter from them, now I'll just be honest. This isn't, I want to say, in healthy context. If it's toxic where the parents are like, that guy, because I have a friend where basically like the mom thought this guy was like a serial killer, my friend. And she was telling the daughter like, you need to leave him. Like that type of stuff is like, yo, get your mom the hell away from me. But that type of stuff is like, yes, it's true. I'm married to them, but they're their family. So when we talk about love and family is like, how could I expect them to just cut off their family? We gotta find a healthy medium.
Yes.
Whether we never, because one thing I think is like, we never have to agree on anything. I don't have to agree with you to love you. So her parents or his parents, whoever's parents, don't have to agree with it. But like, you gotta love them. There's gotta be an equal boundary. Like, you gotta tolerate each other. Like, how can I expect when we have grandkids that they're gonna want to be in those children's lives? And I feel like so often what we look at, and this goes back to being the selfish thing with culture, is like, oh, I married her, she's mine. Like, yeah, she is yours, and technically that is the truth, but is that what you want your kids to do when they get married? Hell nah. Like, my daughters, like, I want them close. I don't want them to bar, you know what I'm saying? Like, you better love her, but you better be close to us. Like,
exactly.
It's like, I think people look at that and they can say that, but the truth is like, what about the family? How do we build family? How do I let that culture impact me? Not just my wife, but that culture and her. It was big for me, for her family to know me, to know my heart.
But that takes a willingness.
Yeah.
And I feel.
Oh no, that's very far and few.
Yeah. You got to be really willing.
Yes.
Because if people get confronted with that negative aspect from the family, a lot of people just retreat. Man, F your family, or like, you can go there. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did it at times. Like, you can go hang out with your parents, I'll go do this. You know, like, you just find a way to
create that buffer.
Yeah, like, okay, I know if this is happening, cool, I can do this and I'll just go do this and you can hang out with your family. And that almost makes it worse.
Yes.
Because it says like you don't care about fixing it.
It's crazy, bro, because like, I'm not with my daughter's mom, but we are at a stable relationship where I can go around her family, she can go around my family, and it's love.
Cordial.
And love, you know. But there was a time where,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying, we didn't look at each other that way, and you know there was times where she would have a family function or something like that, and it's like, where's Joe? Where's Joe? Where's Joe?
Yeah.
And you have to, and I'll go, and I want you to keep going because you just made me think of something.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But like, where's Joe? Where's Joe? And it's like, well, things aren't, you know what I'm saying, how they're supposed to be.
Can't answer this joint.
You got it's
suck it.
power.
It's okay.
No, it's
There you
power.
go.
Come on, athlete. Come on, it's strong.
Yeah, but you know, just to piggyback off of this, it's just like it's toxic because me and her are not together. Because me and her are not together, we can't tolerate him, and we had to get to an agreement where it's okay for us not to be together, but you need to tolerate your niece, your niece's father, or your granddaughter's father. You know, so you need to tolerate him because he's there for her. He does everything for her. He is there for me, regardless of the situation that we're in. I can call on him for anything because that's the type of stable relationship we have. So
you have that security.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you need to tolerate him. You know what I'm saying? Because my parents, my mom, my family tolerates her.
Yeah.
Because they don't look at it like, you know what I'm saying, what we've been talking about all day.
Yeah.
They don't look at it like that. Like, son,
it's not black
and
white.
Right. You had my son, like you had my granddaughter.
Grandchildren change a lot.
It does.
I'll tell you.
It absolutely does.
That color, I'll tell you, man. When you have a grandchild, I don't know what it is. They could be the racistest person alive.
Yes, bro.
They see that grandchild and it like melts that stuff away. Like,
yeah, bro.
Oh, you racist? Look at me. Like, what can you? They're innocent.
Yeah.
It's like you can. What can you agree with?
Yes.
With racism over something that can't do anything.
Yes.
Because, like, for instance, and I'm give you. So somebody I know that's very close to me, they had a significant other at a time that was racist and thought not too highly of me and my wife. But when we had our child and we posted those pictures on social media,
the double tap.
Doop doop. Bro, you can't. Like, it's just because it's like the fruition, the fruit of love is being birthed into the world, and there's an innocence, there's
bro, I'm trying to tell you, bro.
That beauty, that pureness of like.
I don't see. I'm living through you guys.
Right.
But when you have a child, you understand. When they do wrong, that's why they can do no wrongs. Like, yeah, they do wrong, but like you look at them after, you're just like, man, I love her. Man, I do any like. There's times I just look at my children like, there's nothing in the world that I wouldn't do to make sure that they are loved the best, have the most, and taken care of.
Every single day, bro.
Oh, I see it. Yo, you should see him when he's in a car with his daughter.
It's
that full on
every
like
single
dancing.
day.
And it's,
and I can't. And me, this doesn't have nothing to do with interracial relationships at all. But like me having a child, put life in a perspective for me to be the guy that I am today. With every single thing that goes on in my life, it formulates for my daughter. Like it formulates for her. So, like the person that I am now, I just want to continue to be better than yesterday. Because if she can see me this way towards white people, black people, Asians, Latinas, helping out the community, being there for people, you know, continue having a big heart for your family, for your significant others. Like, if she can grow up to see this type of person, this is who I'm trying to instill in her.
And then I would say you've done your job.
Yes.
But see, what we're doing is subconsciously ingraining in them what love looks like.
Yeah, because everything that I just stated is all love.
Yeah,
everything,
that ability to not judge or be narrow-minded or
bro.
concrete to like, this is what it is. If they can see what it looks like in your life, like my daughter, she has no idea about color. She just loves everybody. Like, she's not like, why are they black or why are they white? Like, none of that. I want to hang out with my friends.
Do you think at some point you're going to have the conversation, I think, where you have to educate your child on their identity, how do you think you're going to be able to do that?
That's a really good question. I won't even lie. I mean, educating them on her identity as far as like being, because she's mixed. You know, that's tough. I mean, for me, I would put a lot in my wife's ballpark because I mean, for me, I'm just like, I'm white. You know what I mean? Like, I'm adopted, so I'm multiple different things. But like, I don't know how to go about that. Like, I wouldn't even tell you because I'm not there. So I don't want to even lie and make up something like.
And I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah,
I think it's different for everybody.
Yeah, because I think.
For me, I honestly would have to wait.
Yeah.
Until that time came.
That's what I was just about to say. It's almost like.
Until she says, "Daddy."
Like, why is this?
Yes.
And then I could be
and
like.
I can explain it to her.
Because to me, I don't even like. That's not even a thought in my mind. Like, I couldn't fathom my daughter being like, "Hey, Daddy, why are you white and mommy's black?" Or like, I'd probably be like, "Huh?" Like, at this age, I'm sure in the next couple of years it'll eventually come up. But you know, I mean, I'm not trying to say this to be like colorblind, but it may not. She's in such diverse communities. It's like my church is Asian, white, black, Hispanic. Like, it's all different types of stuff. So it may come up, but I don't know how it. I don't even know what I would say. I would probably be caught off guard, to be honest. Because it's just something you, like, one of those things is like, man, she's having a reality of like, you know, I don't think I ever asked my mom why I was white, but I wouldn't know. My mom.
I don't think I ever. I mean, like, for me, I've had cultural vivid moments in my life where it's happened to be more negative.
Yeah.
It's usually a negative stereotype that's kind of entered my life, and I had to have my parent rationalize why it's happened. But we won't have to dig too into that. We'll wrap up here, and I just want to ask you for your advice to those who are in interracial relationships.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for them in dating and pursuing a marriage? Like, what words of wisdom do you have for people in dating in interracial relationships?
Last words. For me, what I'd say, if you're in an interracial relationship, 1, patience. 2, understanding. 3, the ability to, you know, be able to be humble and learn.
Man,
like,
I was about to say,
if you aren't willing to learn in a relationship, you're gonna fail.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm learning every single day, bro. I'm growing. I think the other thing is, make sure you're in it for the right reason. Like, make sure that the focal point, even when it comes to attraction, like, what does attraction really mean? Because like, somebody can look good, but it's like I told him earlier, it was something like, I'm not, like, if I get into the story of my wife, but when I knew my wife was my wife, we went through this like exchange of stuff, and like, basically, long story short, I thought she wasn't the one for me. Everything came back around, and the time that I seen her, I walked into a room and I could not stop staring at her. Like, my gait, like her every move. And I never had felt that in my life. Like, I felt like I was almost in a trance. And for me, what it was is like, I knew at that moment, like, I was willing to do whatever it took to fight for that. And I feel like when people want relationship, sometimes it's just sex. Sometimes it's to look good for your homies. Sometimes it's to have a nice thing on your side. Or sometimes it's just like, I'm lonely, so I want this. If you're lonely and you just want, interracial relationship is not the way to go. Like, it's not like a test run, like, let me just have a girl, because that's not fair to the girl or the guy to go through that crap and you're not really down for the cause. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, be serious about relationship. Like, be willing just to be patient and humble. Like, bro, like, I am so teachable just from life. You know what I mean?
You are a vessel of wisdom.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Man.
It's so I just say, just be able to learn, be humble, and be willing to fight. If you love something, be willing to fight for it.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Joe, what are your last words of wisdom for the interracial couples out there?
Honestly, I persevere.
Yeah.
It's
a good
huge
word.
in my book. And keep it simple.
Yeah.
And be happy.
Mm.
Be happy through the hardships. Be happy, exactly. Like be happy through the
Simple,
hardships. Be happy through, the difficult times that you're going to go through, because you will. But be willing to learn about situations that you've never been in.
Yeah.
And
Open-minded.
yes, because at the end of the day, like you might think that you've been through something, but you have no idea if you're seriously serious about being with this person forever. You know what I'm saying? So be happy, persevere, and always wanting to learn and continue to climb. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what I would say.
Set healthy expectations. Unhealthy expectations will ruin relationship. That's just facts.
And that just
Facts, yeah.
and that comes down to really what common ground is, and we'll get to this later, but the whole aim of this is to establish communication from different areas of life where things are just very confusing.
Yeah.
Right? And I think in many ways, whether if you're black, white, yellow, purple, or green, we grow up in cultures and in certain groups that make us think and act, or encourage us to act in certain ways. And by having these types of conversations, we can bridge perspective and have common ground. There's a lot that I learned here, and I just want to say thank y'all for your time. And this has been Common Ground. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Cliff.
You know how we stay ganged up. Gang.
I'm in the Jesus gang.
All right.
He never lost.
No L's.
Right.
Wow.